welcome to the Phish Phry. This is a live show every week. Brought to you by Commander Josh Dobbs this week. I pity the fool. Just a little public service announcement. We got Funkacillin playing at your very own Shaughneke's Pub tonight at 9 p.m. At the office in Ukiah, you can hear Malachi and Forrest at 7 p.m. and Funkacillin is at 9 p.m. I almost forgot to mention Happy St. Patty's Day, all y'all. I'm a little Irish, so I kind of like this holiday. Been getting a lot of feedback about this show. Everyone's super stoked. Glad to hear everyone's enjoying it. We got a really heady show today. It's more like homework. We're gonna delve into Trey Anastasio's senior thesis called "The Man Who Stepped Into Yesterday," and it is narration and music for the first hour today, and then crispy fish the second hour. So, without further ado, let's hear from Trey.
Once upon a time, there was a mountain that rose out of a vast green forest. And in the forest, there were birds and lakes and rocks and trees and rivers. The forest was also inhabited by a small group of people called the lizards. The lizards were simple people, and they had lived in the forest undisturbed for thousands of years in utter peace and tranquility. Once a year, when spring came and the first blossoms began to show, the lizards would gather at the base of the mountain to give thanks for all that they had. They thanked the birds, and they thanked the lakes, and they thanked the rocks, and the trees, and the rivers. But most importantly, they thanked Iculus. Iculus lived on top of the mountain, or at least everyone thought so, for no one had actually ever seen him. But they knew he existed, because they had the Helping Friendly Book. Iculus had given the Helping Friendly Book to the lizards thousands of years earlier as a gift. It contained all of the knowledge inherent in the universe and had enabled the lizards to exist in harmony with nature for years. And so they lived, until one day a traveler arrived in Gamehenge. His name was Wilson, and he quickly became intrigued by the lizards' way of life. He asked if he could stay on and live in the forest, and the lizards, who had never seen an outsider, were happy to oblige. Wilson lived with the lizards for a few years, studying the ways of the Helping Friendly Book, and all was well, until one morning, when they awoke, and the book was gone. Wilson explained that he had hidden the book, knowing that the lizards had become dependent on it for survival. He declared himself king and enslaved the innocent people of Gamehenge. He cut down the trees and built a city, which he called Prussia, and in the center of the city he built a castle, and locked in the highest tower of the castle lay the helping friendly book, out of the reach of the lizards forever. But our story begins in a different time, not in Gamehenge, but on a suburban street in Long Island, and our hero is no king sitting in a castle. He is a retired colonel, shaving in his bathroom.
This is KLLG LP 97.9 Willits, California.
Colonel Forbin looked square in the mirror
Stay tuned.
and dragged the blade across his cold cream skin. He saw the tired little folds of flesh that lay in a heap beneath his eyes. 52 years of obedient self-restraint, of hiding his tension behind a serene veil of composure. For 52 years he had piled it all on the back burner, and for 52 years it had boiled, frothing over in a turbulent storm inside of him. It had escaped through his eyes, reacting with the cigarette smoke and the fluorescent lights, and slowly accumulating into a sagging mass. He ran his dripping palm across the stubble on the nape of his neck and thought again about the door. He had discovered the door some months back on one of his ritualistic morning walks with his dog McGrupp. It had started out as a typical stroll, with McGrupp bounding joyously ahead of the preoccupied colonel. As they reached the apex of the hill, he saw it, and he knew it had always been there, and felt foolish for overlooking the door for so long. At first, he tried to ignore it, but he soon found that it was impossible. And slowly, his newly acquired knowledge transformed his dreary life into a prison from which there was only one escape. And on this morning, Colonel Forbin stepped through the door. Passing through the corridor, I came upon an aging knight who leaned against the wall in gnarly armor. He was on his way to see the king. Wilson, Wilson, Wilson. He led me through the streets of Prussia talking as he tried to crush a bug that scurried underneath his heel. He said there was a place where we should go. So he led me through the forest to the edge of a lagoon by which we wandered till we reached a bubbly spring. The night grew very quiet as we stood there. He lifted up his visor and he turned to me and he began to sing. He said, I come from the land of darkness. I said, I come from the land of doom. He said, I come from the land of demons. I'm from the land of the big baboon. Above an every river going back there. And I couldn't if I tried. Because I come from the land of lizards. And the lizards, they have died. And the lizards, they have died. And the lizards, they have died. And the lizards, they have told me that the lizards were a race of people practically extinct from doing things smart people don't do. He said he was once a lizard too. His name was Rutherford the Brave, and he was on a quest to save the people from the fate that lay before them. Their clumsy end was perilously near. The lizards would be saved, he said, if they could be enlightened by the writings of the helping friendly book. In
In all of Prussia, only one existed. And Wilson had declared that any person who possessed it was a crook. He said, I come from the land of darkness. I said, I come from the land of doom. He said, I come from the land of demons. I'm from the land of the big baboon. Oh, but I never remember going back there. And I couldn't if I tried. Because I come from the land of lizards. And the lizards, they have died. 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 The helping, friendly book, it seemed, possessed the ancient secrets of eternal joy and never-ending splendor. The trick was to surrender to the flow. We walked along beneath the moon. He led us through the bush till soon we saw before our eyes a raging river. He said we can swim it if we try. And saying this, the knight dove in, forgetting that his suit of arms would surely weigh him down, and so he sunk. And as his body disappeared before me, I bowed my head in silence and remembered all the thoughts that he had thought. He said, I come from the land of darkness. I said, I come from the land of doom. He said, I come from the land of demons. I'm from the land of the big baboon. But I never remember going back there. And I couldn't if I tried. Because I come from the land of lizards. And the lizards, they have,
But Rutherford and Forbin weren't alone. And suddenly, an unexpected movement caught his eye. On the far side of the river, he saw a shaggy creature standing in the weeds, who stared across at Forbin with an unrelenting gaze. A gigantic mass of muscles and claws. The hideous beast reared back and hurled himself in the water and swam toward the region where Rutherford lay. And in a flash, the beast was gone. Underneath the surface, to the frosty depths below, while Forbin, bewildered, waited alone. The seconds dragging by him seemed like hours, till finally the colonel felt it all had been a dream. Defeated, he bowed his head and turned to go. Suddenly, with a roar, the creature emerged before him and held the brave knight's body to the sky. And the creature laid the knight upon the shore, and the colonel fell beside his friend in prayer that he'd survive. And Rutherford, brave Rutherford, was alive. Corbin and the unit monster were crouched over the soggy knight, carefully removing his bulky helmet, when the colonel heard a sound behind him. He turned around and came face to face with an enormous, shaggy, horse-like creature, covered from head to tail with alternating blotches of brown and white. It was a two-toned multi-beast, and atop the multi-beast sat the most beautiful woman the colonel had ever seen. After 52 years of undaunted bachelorhood, the colonel felt a feeling rush over him that he had never felt before.
The sky is burning in this lonely land, and I kneel by the river, and I feel the sand and the wind from beyond the mountain. Wind from beyond the mountain. door. In the shadow of Wilson's castle, time touched her wounds and shelter proved the cure. In the shadow of Wilson's castle, each passing day seemed to feed the brazen serpent locked inside and liberate the spirit she'd concealed for so long. There was no place left to hide. Tila, Tila, jewel of Wilson's foul domain. Tila, Tila, jewel of Wilson's foul domain. A lullaby, the breezes whisper.
Tila reached out her hand and helped Forbin onto the back of the multi-beast. And together they rode off into the forest. As they rode, Tila explained to him about Wilson and the helping friendly book. She told the colonel that she was part of a revolution to overthrow the evil king. The leader of the revolution was a lizard named Errand Wolf, who was out to avenge the death of his son Roger. Roger, she said, had been executed by Wilson at the age of 14 on suspicion of treason. He had been abducted from his home and hung in the public square. The two rode on in silence, deeper and deeper into the heart of the forest, until they came to the outskirts of a small community. Tila explained to Forbin that they had reached the base of the revolutionaries. The colonel looked up, and there in the center of the clearing stood Errand Wolf. He was a small man, but his presence was overpowering. He seemed to emit a kind of violent energy that sent chills down the colonel's spine. And as the multi-beast moved towards him, he raised his fist in anger, and his voice filled the forest.
Wilson? Can you still have fun, Wilson? Can you still have fun now, Wilson? Wilson, Wilson. Oh, can you still have fun now, Blap, blap,
Meanwhile, in the main square in Prussia, the state of the revolution was taking another turn for the worst. A crowd of townspeople had gathered to witness the hanging of Wilson's accountant, Mr. Palmer. It seemed that Palmer had been a revolutionary himself and had been extorting Wilson's money to fund the revolution. Palmer stood on the scaffold with Wilson in the AC/DC bag, an electrified robot hangman with a black bag over his head. Wilson seemed pleased as he began to speak.
Mr. Palmer is concerned with $1,000 question. Just like Roger, he's a crazy little kid. I've got the time if you've got the inclination. So cheer up, Palmer, you'll soon be dead. And the noose is hanging, at least you won't die wondering. Sit up and take notice, tell it like it is. If I were near you, I wouldn't be far from you. I've got a feeling you know what you did. AC/DC bag. AC/DC bag. AC/DC bag. DC bag. AC/DC bag. AC/DC bag. AC/DC bag. DC bag. Time to put your money where your mouth is. Put 'em in the field and let 'em fight it out. I'm running so fast, my feet don't touch the ground. I'm a stranger here. I'm going down. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Let's get this show on the road. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. I'm breathing hard. Open the door. AC/DC bag. AC/DC bag. AC/DC bag. DC bag. AC/DC bag. AC/DC bag. AC/DC bag. DC bag. Brain dead and made of money. No future at all. Pull down the blinds and run for cover. No future at all. Who would have thought it? Well, that's where I am. No future at all. Don't sweat it. That's where I am. Whoa, carry me down, down, down.
By that night, news of Palmer's death had traveled back to the camp. Spirits were low, and Colonel Forbin felt devastated. Even though he had only been in Gamehenge for one day, he had already developed a deep hatred for Wilson. He wanted desperately to help the revolutionaries, but without Palmer, it seemed hopeless. He wandered slowly through the camp and passed Aaron Wolf, sitting by the fire with Rutherford, who had returned that afternoon. He walked on and soon found himself outside of Tila's hut. Forbin knocked and walked in. Tila sat behind a makeshift desk in the center of a room that was littered with small cages containing spotted stripers, a tiny three-legged breed of animal. The unit monster sat in the corner. The colonel took a step toward Tila and spoke. "I needed to come here tonight," he said, "to tell you that I've fallen in love with you." He looked to her eyes for approval, but her face remained frozen in an expressionless stare. An awkward blanket of silence fell over the room and hung for a long moment, before being shattered by the sound of the door swinging violently open. It was Rutherford the Brave. The ironclad knight rushed across the room and gripped the throats of Tila and the unit monster in each of his mighty hands. They struggled to break free, but even the unit monster was no match for Rutherford's power, and soon it was over. The bodies fell to the floor in a lifeless heap. Colonel Forbin stepped forward from where he stood in the corner, unable to contain his confusion and rage, and screamed, "Why?" His question was answered by Aaron Wolf, who had quietly slipped through the doorway during the confusion. She was a spy, he said, and explained to Forbin that she had been sending information to Wilson using the spotted stripers as carriers. Roger's death had aroused his suspicion, and Palmer's had confirmed it. The colonel stood in silence in a world that had turned upside down so many times that he no longer knew which way was up. It had all seemed so simple when he first arrived. Good versus evil, and of course he had sided with good as he had done all of his life. And now he stood and stared into the eyes of Aaron Wolf, and he saw evil. The entire picture began to seem like an enormous puzzle with one piece missing, and the colonel knew what that piece was. Within 24 hours, he said to Aaron Wolf, "You will have the Helping Friendly book." And even as the words were leaving his lips, he found himself running out the door and into the forest, not towards Prussia, but toward the great mountain looming in the distance.
Stared up at the mountain and wiped away the beads of sweat that glistened on his brow. His tired feet were buried in the quagmire, and his bloodshot eyes saw all that lay between him and fulfillment of his vow. And he felt his fingers wrap around a knotted root and pull his body upwards to a sea-green mossy boulder, and he dragged his weary carcass up the mountain, and he climbed so slowly, he climbed so slowly, Suddenly he heard the crack of thunder, and the rock began to crumble overhead, and tumble down the mountain to the dismal swamp that lay beneath the jagged cliffs through which his path had led. And the earth began to quake beneath his feet, and the mighty mountain changed before his eyes, and it stood amidst a sea of dust and rocks and stones cascading down the mountain. And 1,000 birds were headed for the sky. Oh, the sacred creed will be yours. And if you wait till tomorrow, the sacred creed will be yours to devour, yours to seize and to obey. Obey. To his knees by a blazing beam of light, and he saw the silhouette that stood before him, and he bowed in reverence, trembling in the shadow of the mighty legends. For Nicholas the prophet stood before his eyes, looking down on Colonel Forbin where he shuddered in the puddles and the muck, and he quietly addressed him, and he spoke so slowly ahead. He said, Colonel Foreman, I know why you've come here, and I'll help you with your quest to gain the knowledge that you lack. I call upon my faithful friend the Mocking to seize the helping book and bring it to your shack, and the tree of knowledge in your soul will grow, and the helping friendly book will plant the seed. But I warn you that all knowledge, seeming innocent, pure, becomes a deadly weapon in the hands of avarice and greed. Oh, the sacred greed will be yours. And if you wait till tomorrow, the sacred creed will be yours to devour, yours to seize and to obey. And to obey.
Famous mockingbird swooped down out of the sky and landed on Nicholas's shoulder. And Nicholas whispered into the bird's ear, and it flew off toward Wilson's castle in the valley below. next morning at the camp, Aaron Wolf and Rutherford stood frozen in awe as the famous mockingbird flew out of the sky and laid the helping friendly book at their feet. The quest for the book had dragged on for so many years that its sudden appearance left the men staring in disbelief, unsure of what their next move should be. The shock wore off quickly, though, and Aaron Wolf shot into high gear. He snatched up the book with one hand and the famous mockingbird with the other, and began to inform Rutherford of his plan. He would first kill Wilson, and then put the helping friendly book to work for him. With Rutherford's aid, he fastened the famous mockingbird to a pole with glue and rubber bands to ensure the secrecy of his mission, and then set out to find the only man in Gamehenge who could handle the job of eliminating a king. Colonel Forbin stared at the 14 bars that stood at the end of the cell. He ran his hand across the cold, damp dungeon wall and thought again about the door. He had traveled through the door out of necessity. Once he knew it existed, he simply couldn't leave it alone. Just like Wilson. Just like Taylor. Just like Aaron Wolf. And he sat in the dungeon and he realized that he was back again through the door. And through the tiny window in the corner of his cell, he heard the distant strains. From the top of the mountain, Nicholas looked down on all that went on below him. he smiled.
Riding down the road one day and someone hit a possum. I was riding down the road one day and someone hit a possum. The road was his end was the road, so they say. Riding down the road one day and someone hit a possum. The road was his end was the road, so they say. Oh, possum.
Alright, y'all. How we doing out there in Radioland? We're crushing it. We just listened to Trey Anastasio's senior thesis at Goddard College in Plainville, Vermont. That was in '87, folks. That's why if you're wondering, hey, you know, the sound quality maybe wasn't the greatest, that's because they were college kids recording on a 4-track player in the '80s. Well, but you know, that's, you know, we'll just. It was still great though. It was actually great sound quality for the '80s, and but now we're stepping on. We're going on to East Troy, Wisconsin. This is July 18th, 2003. Alpine Valley. Little bathtub gin.
Where is the Joker? Have you seen
Right on.
him around
Stay
with a
groovy,
big
folks.
bone cap that he wears like a crown? Have you seen his striped stockings and heard his sad tale about the kids under the carpet and the purple humpback whale? Here come the ambassadors, they show up one by one. Brett is tasting all the soup to see if it is done. And Wendy's on the windowsill, waiting to be let in. And we're all in the bathtub now, making bathtub gin. When the kings storm the hallway, they've climbed up through the gates. They didn't mean to be impolite, but they just couldn't wait. Here comes the Joker with his silly grin. He carries a martini made of bathtub gin. The Joker, we all must laugh, cause we're all in this together, and we love to take a bath.
This is KLLG. Welcome. You're tuned into the Phish Phry. We're doing it right, and we're doing it right. Everybody's doing it right. All you leprechauns out there, if you want to know what's going on tonight, we got Funkacillin playing at Shaughneke's Pub. That's at 9 p.m. And at the office in Ukiah, you can hear Malachi and Forrest at 7 p.m. We were listening to some Gamehenge earlier. A little bit of the Helping Friendly book. Hope it helped out all you fish heads out there. And now we're going to do some crispy action right now. We're going to get into a little mango song. My hands and feet are mangoes, and you're going to be a genius someday. Stay fresh.
Spasm winter dropping to his knees, sees slander on wrapped paper ties. Lifting up his head, he finds the sunlight in his eyes. Grasp a kettle top and shoot the breeze, please. Ramble while slop scraper side. Tossing in his bed at night, he'll dream until he dies. Operations at the sink, the dribble liquid visible beneath his troubled eye. Feels it tilt and start to slide. Mask a pretty hopper's foot with squeezed cheese. Handle some grape apple pie. Tranquil and serene until he runs out of supply. Your hands and feet are mangoes. You're gonna be a genius anyway. Your hands and feet are mangoes. You're gonna be a genius anyway. Your hands and feet are mangoes. You're gonna be a genius anyway. Your hands and feet are mangoes. You're gonna be a genius anyway. Spaghetti drop and shoot the squeeze cheese. Sandals, sunbrace, apple pie. Turning up his bed until he runs out of supply. Your hands and feet are mangoes. You're gonna be a genius anyway. Your hands and feet are mangoes. You're gonna be a genius anyway. Your hands and feet are mangoes. You're gonna be a genius anyway. Your hands and feet are mangoes. You're gonna be a genius anyway.
You're tuned in to KLLG. This is community supported, people powered, hometown radio. Hey Rob, stay tuned. We got another 37 minutes left here. Right on. Stay fresh, folks.
From under my nails, I brush past a garden, depending on whales. The sloping companion, I cast down the ash, yank down my tunic and dangle my stash. Zipping through the forest with the curling fleas, to grow with them spindles, the mutant I seize. I capture the dread beast who falls to his knees and cries to his cohorts asleep in the trees. Fish market stew, police in the corner, gunning for you. Apple toast bed heated for a blanket rat. Laugh when they shoot you, say please don't do that. Control for smilers can't be bought. The soul of garlic starts to rot. Was it for this my life I sought? Maybe so, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe so, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe so, maybe not. Maybe so, maybe not. Was it for this my life I sought? Maybe so, maybe not. Control for smilers can't be bought. Maybe so, maybe not. The solar garlic starts to rot. Maybe so, maybe not. Was it for this my life I sought? Maybe so, maybe not. Was it for this my life I sought? Maybe so, maybe not. Maybe so, maybe not. Maybe so, maybe not. Maybe so, maybe not. your dread will lift. It glitters on her like a glass. You shut her eyes, it comes to pass. Apologize to Lucy Lill, converse with Ed, a drive with Jill. Your friends can find you in their worlds, one by one, a string of pearls. Confused, you say, this isn't me. You hover in their unity. Ashamed, you slowly lose your grasp. Release the links, undo the clasp. The skin that drips down off the tree or peels back slowly from your knee, erupts into your lung and heart. You laugh and laugh and fall apart. And laughing fall apart. Laughing, 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 laughing fall apart. take what you give, and I'm here, but I don't want you to live with me, 'cause all I want is a taste for free. I'm down, and I will drag you along and around until you burst into song and unwind and leave your new life behind for a while. 'Cause I can't see through the lines, 'cause I can't see through the lines. I'm down, and I will drag you along and around until you burst into song and unwind and leave your new life behind for a while. I'm out, and I will stay here alone and without someone controlled by the phone and TV. But what it's doing to me is fine, 'cause I can't see through the lines. I can't see through the lines.
Step into space, alter my place. so I can weigh it. What do you say? 5 pounds, 6 pounds, 7 pounds. I'd like to go to your house, gather all your razors, put on the little prickly hair so I can weigh them. What do you say? 5 pounds, 6 pounds, 7 pounds. Gather all your friends, push them into a small swimming pool so I can weigh them. What do you say? 5 pounds, 6 pounds, 7 pounds. Why weigh on a sunny day? So much to do, so why, oh why weigh? On a sunny day, why oh why wait? Why wait? Why oh why wait? Hear my options so I could weigh them. What do you say? 5 pounds, 6 pounds, 7 pounds. Why weigh on a sunny day? So much to do, so why weigh on a sunny day?
Because of the incredible speed of your rocket, your trip is short. Your trip is short. Your trip is short. spaceship, your spaceship, your spaceship, your spaceship, your space, your spaceship is about to blast off because of the incredible speed of your spaceship is about to blast off the shore.
This is KLLG LP 97.9 Willits, California. You're tuned into the Fry folks. The Fry folks. That's easy to say. We're running out of fish though. The Fry is winding down. We're down to the solar garlic and vegan bacon bits right now, so. St. Patty's Day. Be safe tonight, everyone, alright? You hear? My children? Be safe. Happy birthday, Robin. I love you. This is community-supported, people-powered hometown radio. Hope to see you next week, folks. Take care.